In the last video, I had given you a simple example of money and transaction and a few key points that you can keep in mind for that example. Now let us use that example to understand the relation between energy and work. So energy is like money. So you can have, just like you can own money, you can have money, you can also have energy, right? And you can have energy in various forms. For example, I could have kinetic energy if I'm moving, or I could have potential energy, so if I'm at some height. Similarly, I can have money in various forms like coins and cash. So that is a simple comparison. And secondly, we all know that work is a process, right? So work is some process by which we apply some force and get some displacement. So similarly, that work can be compared to the transaction, the process of transaction through which I transfer money. So in essence, what I'm trying to point out here is that work is the process by which you transfer energy. That's as simple as that. So work is the process through which I transfer energy, and obviously I could transfer energy in various forms, just like money in cash or in coins. But yeah, the basic idea is work is the process through which I transfer energy. Now let us take this example. Here I am standing here, and let's say I have some energy in the form of, let's say for right now I have it in the form of chemical energy in my muscles. I also have this ball here which has no energy right now, ignoring the chemical energy in it for now. It has no mechanical energy. What is mechanical energy? Well, mechanical energy is a combined term used for kinetic energy and potential energy. So both of them together are called mechanical energy. And neither is this small ball moving. Yeah, it has some potential energy because it is at some height, but okay. But otherwise, because I've tied it, I'm not leaving it. For now, it has no potential energy as such. Obviously, if I leave it, it will do some work. But if I have some, if I take this as my reference point to measure the height, it has no potential energy. But we'll not get into that for now. The point is, this has no energy for now. And if I wish to give it some energy, so let's say I have 100 joules of energy, and if I wish to give this some energy, how do I give it that energy? Well, I could give it in the form of kinetic energy. How do I do that? I can do that by punching it, right? It gained kinetic energy, it moved. So how did I do that? Well, to transfer some energy to this, I had to do some work. I applied some force, and due to that force, it moved, it displaced. So I did work, right? And through that work, by doing that work, I actually transferred some energy. And yeah, remember, when I did some work, I lost some energy. So after doing that, I have, let's say if I transferred 5 joules of energy, I'm only left with 95 joules of energy myself, because I had 100 joules of energy earlier. And I transferred 5 joules of energy to this, and after the punch, this has 5 joules of kinetic energy, because I gave it kinetic energy, the energy of motion. So that is one way of transferring some energy to it. And if we see here, I did some positive work on the ball. How did I do positive work? Because obviously the force and the displacement were in the same direction. I applied a force in that direction, and I obtained a displacement in that same direction. So I did some positive work on the ball, and I gave it some energy. Well, if we look here, so the meaning of positive work is like giving energy. So it's as simple as that. Whenever I say I did some positive work on some object, essentially I gave it some energy. Could be in the form of kinetic energy, could be in the form of potential energy. Let us restrict ourselves to both those two forms. But yeah, I gave it in that form. And the amount of energy that I transferred to it, so that is the amount by that the object gains. So if I transfer 5 joules of energy, so if I do 5 joules of work on this, I am transferring 5 joules of energy, and it gains 5 joules of kinetic energy, and I lose 5 joules of energy. Could be in either form. So that is the relationship between work and energy, and how I transfer it. One more thing that we can notice here is that energy in this system remains conserved, or energy will always remain, the total energy will always remain same. So earlier I had 100 joules, this had 0 joules, and if I did 5 joules of work on this, it gained the kinetic energy of 5 joules, and I lost some energy. I lost 5 joules of energy. So after doing that work, I am left with 95 joules of energy myself, and this thing has 5 joules of energy. So again, the total is 100 joules. And yeah, just like I can waste money, I can also waste energy. So maybe when I hit it, I produce some sound energy, right? If I hit it very hard, I can produce some sound energy, and obviously that is the energy that is getting wasted. Let's say I produce 2 joules of sound energy. So yeah, obviously let's say I'm doing 5 joules of work and I produce 2 joules of sound energy. So only 3 joules of energy is transferred to this as kinetic energy, but the total energy will still remain the same. 2 joules of kinetic energy, 3 joules of kinetic energy, 2 joules of sound energy, and 95 that I'm left with. So again the total is 100. So the total energy will remain conserved, and in other words, you can neither create energy, you can neither destroy energy. You might waste energy in dissipating energy like sound energy, you're wasting energy, but you can neither create nor destroy energy. You can only transfer it, and to transfer you need to do some work. So positive work was, so when I said I do some positive work on the object, I'm giving it energy through positive work. So let's say I did some positive work on this ball, I gave it some energy. Now what does negative energy mean? Well, negative, if you see here, when I'm punching it, by Newton's third law, I am applying some force, and by Newton's third law we know that the ball must apply an equal and opposite force on my hand, and that force because that is an equal and opposite force, so that force must act in this direction, right? I am pushing it in that direction, so by Newton's third law this applies an equal force in that direction. The force is equal, and let's say I displace it by this much while pushing, I displace it by this much. So even in this case, when this applies a force, so I did some work by applying some force in that direction, and I got a displacement in that direction. So my work on this ball was positive, but this applied a force on me in that direction, an equal amount of force, and again the displacement is common in both the cases, but still the displacement is in that direction, right? Both my hand and the object are moving in the same direction. So the object applies an opposite force to the direction of motion. In other words, this object is doing negative work on my hand. So I am doing some positive work on the object, but the object does some negative work on me. So what does negative work mean? Negative work simply means taking some energy from somebody. So when I say I did some positive work on the object, I gave it some energy this way, and when this object does some negative work on me, it took some energy from me. Obviously, just like if I am giving 5 rupees to my friend has to take that 5 rupees from me. So the amount I give is equal to the amount he takes. Similarly, the amount I give, positive work, should be equal to the amount he takes, the subject takes. So negative work. So the negative work and positive work in this situation, so the positive work done by me on this object should be equal to the negative work that this object does on me. Obviously, the sign will be opposite because it's negative work, but they have to be equal in magnitude. So if I do 5 joules of work on this does minus 5 joules of negative work on me. So that is simple, the simple relationship between energy and work. And yes, you can think about this in more detail and understand how the two examples correlate, energy and money, for example. And lastly, so I had told you that we can give it energy in various forms. So I just show you how I can give it kinetic energy. How do I give potential energy to this object? Well, I can apply some force, a pull, and take it to, let's say, this height. So I increase its height from this height to this height, right? So I applied some force, and we had some displacement, and because its height increased, mgh, we know that potential energy is proportional to height. So earlier its height was this much, so it had kinetic energy, potential energy corresponding to this height, and now its height is this much, so it has a higher potential energy, or in other words, it gained some potential energy. So if I did 5 joules of work on this object, it gained a potential energy of 5 joules. And if I leave it, well, you might say that, see, it will return back to the original height. So where does the potential energy go? Did we just destroy that energy? Well, no. Why didn't we destroy energy? Well, when it moved, see, when it moved and reached here, it was moving with some velocity. So at this point, it has some kinetic energy, and we just know right now, we saw that. So we just right now saw that we cannot destroy energy. So if it had, let's say, 5 joules of kinetic energy here, if it had 5 joules of potential energy here, and so that 5 joules is the difference between the potential energy at this height and the potential energy at this height. So let's say I did 5 joules of work on this, it gained 5 joules of potential energy. When I leave it and it reaches here, that 5 joules of potential energy gets converted into 5 joules of kinetic energy at this point. And again, so here we have high potential energy, 0 kinetic energy, it's stationary. As it starts moving, that its kinetic energy increases and its potential energy drops down because its height is dropping. So the potential energy is getting converted into kinetic energy. At this point, its potential energy is minimum because it has lost all the height it gained, and its kinetic energy is maximum. As it moves ahead, again the kinetic energy gets converted into potential energy because it is gaining height, its potential energy is increasing, and because it is slowing down, its kinetic energy is reducing. Let's see that here. So if I take it to this energy, this height, I do some work or give it some energy, let's say 5 joules, and at this height it has maximum potential energy, and because it's not moving, it has no kinetic energy. Now if I leave, it travels and see it's reaching to the almost the same height. Obviously it is wasting some energy because of air resistance and all that, but the idea is that as it reaches here, its kinetic energy is maximum, and all that potential energy, the change in the potential energy it gained gets converted into kinetic energy. See, and during this whole thing, so maximum kinetic energy, potential, it is getting constantly, it is potential energy and kinetic energy are being interconverted, but the total sum of potential and kinetic energy will always remain the same. And if we call the sum of potential and kinetic energy as the total mechanical energy of this object, so the total mechanical energy in this isolated system, let's not talk about any other form of energy, so we are only talking about the potential and kinetic energy. So in this system it will remain the same by simple law of conservation of energy, which says that energy cannot be created, or it can neither be created nor destroyed. And even when I give it kinetic energy, the same thing happens. I give it kinetic energy, it gets converted into potential energy, then again kinetic, potential, it just keeps on switching. And so that same thing that I'm showing you here can be observed if we throw an object upwards. So when I throw an object upwards, I give it some work, I do some work, I give it some kinetic energy, and as it goes up at the top most point, all its kinetic energy gets converted into potential energy, and obviously it's slowing down, right? So its kinetic energy is reducing, and as its height is increasing, its potential energy is increasing. At the topmost point, its potential energy is maximum because it's at maximum height, and because it is the slowest at that point, its kinetic energy is minimum or 0. And as it comes back, its kinetic energy is increasing, it's gaining speed, and it is dropping, it is losing height, so its potential energy is reducing. So, but again, the total sum of kinetic and potential energy will remain the same, or the total mechanical energy of that object will remain constant. So that is the simple relation between energy and work. And we also did the law of conservation of energy, which means that the total energy will always remain the same. You can neither create energy, you can nor destroy energy, and the total amount of energy will remain the same. That's it.